So moving on to the next question. This is a good one we haven't talked about yet. Do you believe in man-made climate change? And what do you believe Indiana should do to address it?
Yes, I do believe that man can influence climate to some degree. There's no doubt about it. Carbon dioxide, it holds heat, it holds energy. There's no disputing that. So yes, we do impact our environment. What we can do about it, certainly I think we're doing a lot. And I know a lot of the things that we really look at, automobiles are highly regulated right now. I mean, the biggest source of pollution coming from fossil fuels is coming from things like weed eaters and lawnmowers. Sadly, I think about that every time I pull the cord on my lawnmower. I ought to get a real mower, just because every time I fire that lawnmower up, that's putting more CO2 in the air than my car does in a week, probably. So I think it's good to be diligent about it and not bury our head in the sand and say, nope, man doesn't have any effect over climate. However, I do think it's a fairly big world, and we need to do what we can to take care of our portion of it. But there's certain things we can and cannot do, and I think that we should be very wary about regulating ourselves to the point of stopping all commerce and all enjoyment of life.
Senator Simpson?
Yes, I absolutely believe that that climate change has been brought about by human activity, not the least of which is coal-burning energy sources, which is another reason why I support mandatory renewable standards, because I think Indiana needs to do more of its part in playing a role rather than dragging our feet. And since this question probably isn't going to get asked, I just want to say I'm absolutely, positively opposed to the Rockport project, and we need to find ways to look at that contract, reopen that contract if possible, modify the contract, void the contract, whatever we can do to stop that project, because it goes against every every market principle that I've ever learned in economics or anyplace else, that Indiana is speculating in the natural gas markets, and we have no business doing that. It is a bad deal for Indiana consumers, and we ought to stop it.
Actually, Senator Simpson, you segued to my next question.
Oh, do you want me to answer it again?
Fine. So I'll actually go ahead and
okay.
Defer to Mr. Klopfenstein.
Actually, to that degree, I agree with Senator Simpson, and I referenced this earlier. The state of Indiana should act as a regulatory agency, but not an investment agency. And yeah, suddenly, and I think this goes back to the question on the mandate on renewable energy. It's one thing to be an advocate, and it's one thing to regulate it. It's a whole other thing to be the investor in it. And anything that leaves Indiana on the hook for billions of dollars potentially, I think is not good. And it's not the role of the state government to invest in things like that. The state government should be investing in infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, roads, courts, public safety, fire, those sorts of things. But when it comes to any sort of a for-profit business, and energy is a for-profit business, while I think it's probably in our best interest to regulate it, it's not in our best interest to own it.
Rebuttal.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to say that unfortunately our triage here, the third person running for lieutenant governor, was the leading spokesperson in the House for the Rockport project, and in fact voted for giving the project eminent domain authority, which is the first time. Not only are we investing in the project, not only are the ratepayers of Indiana guaranteeing the project, but we also have granted them eminent domain authority, which we have never given to a private company before.
Fortunately, they're going to finish third anyhow.
Pardon?
I said, fortunately, they're going to finish third anyhow.
So Representative Ellspermann is a big, I'm so sorry she isn't here, because I'd love to hear her defense of the project.